Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Welcome back to the Daily Drop-In, the Teach Better Educator Morning Show with you every single weekday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. My name is Brad Hughes, your host for the morning. I'm here with guest Tiffany Copple. We're digging into some great conversation around safe spaces inside and outside our school buildings and communities. We have some good news to share. We've got some holidays to recognize and celebrate. We'd love to see you chiming in the comments with your good mornings, with your questions. We'll have our brainstorm bank. We're here for you, and we're here for you every single morning. Excited and delighted to welcome Tiffany to our program this morning, and we'll get things underway right after this. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Daily Drop-In. Good morning, Tiffany. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thanks, Brad, for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Really excited to be with you here, Tiffany. And to get started, I wonder if you can just let our viewers and listeners know who you are, where you are, and what you do.
So my name is Tiffany Copple, and I am a principal at a pre-K through 5 elementary in Southern Indiana. Go Vina Finley Braves. And I've done a lot of work in Indiana with technology, and even for a short stint worked for the Office of E-Learning through the DOE as an innovation specialist. So it's kind of nice to tap back into some of my technology passion today. I'm excited.
Welcome, Tiffany, and welcome to our guests that are joining us. Please make sure that you let us know who you are, where you are, and what you do in our comments. Maybe make sure you've got a warm cup of coffee or beverage of choice in your hand, and get ready to dig into some great conversation with me and Tiffany. Tiffany, tell me about your school. How many students do you serve? What's your community in Indiana like?
So I have approximately 370 students. It stays around that number. We recently added this year preschool to our building, which has been a really fun adventure. They're definitely adorable, and they come with their own set of uniqueness. Our community is very small. There are 4 elementaries in our district. We're a tight-knit community. Everybody knows everybody, kind of that kind of place. It's a really special place to be.
Preschool is definitely an interesting and really exhilarating addition to any school building. What are some of the most exciting surprises that you and your team have discovered as you've added preschool to your building?
Well, it's been really fun to see how the other students interact with preschool. And we've really started using our preschool to pair up students that maybe have some issues in the classroom. It's giving them leadership opportunities. We use it as a reward to get to go in and play with a preschooler or read a book with a preschooler. So that's been a really fun, way that it's really affected our whole building. But of course, I mean, they're just adorable to see in the hallway, and they want to give you hugs and the high fives and all of that. So
They absolutely are. And sometimes, Tiffany, when I look around my building, and we have kindergartners, junior kindergarten, so they start as young as 3. So they go from 3 to 5 years old. And sometimes I just marvel and say, what are these little people doing in a school? They're so little. Should you be at home? Do your parents know you go to school on your own? It's really incredible. And how about the growth of your teams in terms of their training, their interests, their passions as you've welcomed preschoolers into your building?
Well, I think that we've just tried as much as possible to make sure that preschool is included in everything that we do. And that would be the teachers, so that they don't feel isolated. We've tried to incorporate and give them time with our kindergarten teachers, so that they're collaborating and they know kind of what the expectations are. And also just vice versa, how they can assist kindergarten. We're really trying, especially next year, to incorporate more play into our kindergarten. It's kind of coming back full circle, right? So,
Yeah.
and so we're starting those talks right now, and that kind of training and collaboration discussion.
I'd love to circle back to that conversation with you later in our show. And I really see there's huge potential for growth and engagement when we kind of transfer up those early years learning strategies to even some of our older grades, and the
Yeah,
play-based opportunities where kids have voice and choice in what they choose to do. And the teacher is both moderator but also observer of these rich interactions. Anyway, I could go on and on about that. So I look forward
yeah.
to digging into that with you. Tell me a little bit about your passions as an educator. Tell me about your journey to instructional leadership, to innovation, to school leadership. What lights your fire as an educator?
Well, honestly, when I was 5 years in to this profession, I was really contemplating if it was something I wanted to continue to do. And I made a building change, which it wasn't about that building, it was just I needed a change.
Hmm.
And that's when our technology initiative came in. And for me, it really reignited my passion, and not necessarily because of the technology, but as you guys know, it's everything that comes with it. The way that students learn, the collaboration, the critical thinking, and for me, technology was a freedom. It gave me a lot of freedom in the classroom to really explore those things where previously, I walked into this job thinking, oh, it's this, and this. And I just didn't really feel like me. And it just, technology became that for me, and it really became a passion. And I really enjoy getting to go share that with other teachers and educators. Um, and that really gave me a platform too in my district to be a leader. And so I kind of worked up that way, and moved up to the middle school and tried some things there. And then I even spent a year as an e-learning specialist in my district. But I really still was looking for that big impact. And in our district, I felt like that was building principalship.
Hmm.
And so that's why I took that leap and entered into this job as a new principal right when COVID hit. So I don't know what it's supposed to feel like or look like. Um, but I'm just kind of along for the journey. But technology really, I don't know if I would be sitting right here had the technology and being an early adopter. I don't know if I've been right here where I am. Yeah.
It's incredible, and I really really identify with your journey from instructional and classroom leadership to school leadership, and it really is something that we as educators, no matter what our role, we have to embody, and we have to give ourselves permission, as you've done, to really find yourself in the process. It isn't always a good fit depending on what you're doing and who you're serving, but it sounds to me like you've leveraged that interest in technology not just to draw people in, but to stay connected with others. How is it
Yeah.
building community for you?
Well, I mean, Twitter early on was huge for me to be able to connect with educators, not just in Indiana, but everywhere. And then also, became very involved with the Office of E-Learning in Indiana, which opened up lots of other opportunities to
Mhm.
collaborate, to write digital curriculum for the state. And then that snowballed into other opportunities, and going to ISTE or presenting, or taking students to ISTE, presenting. And for me, going to conferences has always been about the networking. It's never really even been about the content I get.
For
It's
sure.
it's the people, and those are the people who inspire me, and I just want to get really close to them because, they just, their energy, their passion reminds you why you do what you do. And of course, I get good ideas along the way, but it's really their passion that I'm most drawn to. So the community is extremely important. And here in our district, it's that way, being able to reach across buildings and talk to other administrators, and being able to pick up the phone, um, or even when you're just having a moment, it's the people that make everything, just the whole difference, right? So um, it's everything.
Yeah, it sure is. It's not the what of we. It's not what we do. It's the who that's in our
Yeah.
teaching and educating and personal lives. And then we were talking about networking and coming together in conferences. You're coming together with people who share the why. They share your why, Tiffany, of coming together in service of kids and to lift each other up as educators, recognizing the challenging but also exciting work that we do. So, good
Yeah.
morning to Alex in our comments on Facebook. Good morning to all of our viewers and listeners. Please let us know who you are and where you're watching. Let us know what you're drinking this morning, whether it's coffee or tea. We've got a celebration this morning. Tiffany, do you have a warm drink with you? Oh, yes.
Oh no, I'm not a warm drink girl. I'm a Diet Coke girl.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I have a school staff member whose go-to is classic Coke, and that's the morning drink of choice there. So no matter what's in your hand or where you are, we're here for you. So Tiffany, we're going to change over after our transition
Yeah.
to our brainstorm bank, an opportunity for us to collaborate with our listeners and viewers, whether you are listening live and watching live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or LinkedIn, or maybe you're joining us later with our convenient time shifting feature. Tiffany, people can listen to us and watch us later on any of those platforms, and they can also listen to us and catch our recap on the Teach Better Talk podcast. So right after this transition, we'll dig into our brainstorm bank. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
Fantastic. Bear with me as I find the transition. The training wheels aren't off here for this daily drop-in host. We'll be right back. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to the Daily Drop-In. I'm Brad Hughes, elementary principal in Ontario, Canada. I'm with Tiffany Copple, a school leader and innovation specialist in Indiana, and you're joining the Daily Drop-In wherever you are, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or LinkedIn. And it's time for our brainstorm bank, an intentional time for us to set aside what do you need and how can we help? Tiffany and I are here, whether you're joining us in the comments or later on. We would love to know what's on your mind, what your problems of practice might be, what's got you scratching your head as you head into school this morning, or something that you're looking long term. Tiffany and I may not have the answers, nor could we pretend to have the answer for you, but the process of opening up conversation and being available to you and to each other, just as Tiffany said, it's all about that connection. So if you have something on your mind, anything that we can weigh in on, please let us know in the comments. And Tiffany, those problems of practice, and you described your transition to to school leadership in the middle of a pandemic. One of the major problems of practice is just reckoning ourselves and in our school communities with the stress that we're bringing in,
Yeah.
that teachers, leaders, and students are bringing in to our school building. So what would you say are among the top concerns or sort of top problems of practice that you're supporting teachers and educators as they walk through this kind of stress?
Honestly, and I don't know if this is true everywhere, but I would assume that if it's true here, it's true somewhere else. The social, emotional issues that our students are bringing into the building post-pandemic. I mean, it's a very clear differentiation um, between our students that had that normal school experience and our students that have not. And so with that, have brought in not new issues necessarily, but more exaggerated issues or more frequent issues in the classroom. So where we might have dealt with students, just learning how to sit next to each other or learning how to stand in line or, just how to talk to one another when they're not 6 feet apart. I mean, all of these things have certainly had an impact, and teachers feel that. They're feeling the pressure to perform, instructionally, but they're also trying to manage these behaviors that previously we weren't experiencing at this level. So I think that that's probably what has brought an additional amount of stress. And not to mention, we all have been through the ringer. And so we're bringing our own traumas and our own backgrounds to it. And we have less patience for some of these things. And we have to be willing to recognize that. Yeah. So we have to say I'm not maybe as equipped as I was even 3 years ago. Just my tank's not full, and how that contributes to the situation. So I think that that's probably where a lot of the stress comes from. And then, of course, being in Indiana, right now is in national news of legislation that's out, and that definitely plays into the climate. And so morale is something that we work on daily. Um, it's more than having snacks in the lounge, but it's, what trying to really listen to teachers and what they need. They need support, and they need time. They need time to do the tasks that they need to do. So for us, it's been, kind of all of that. And we've been working hard, and trying to brainstorm some unique ways to combat all of this. So um, that's kind of what's been going on here.
Tiffany, you're describing stresses within and stresses without, and they all are targeted like lightning rods on us as individuals as we kind of make our way through life and in our community. And you're describing something that I've seen frequently as a school leader. When we're high stress and especially low energy, that tension can spill over, between colleagues, between students very, very quickly. But I'd like to get your take on what might be the heart of soothing those frayed nerves and soothing that stress. And that's coming back to, I guess, the restorative and protective properties of relationships. I wonder how you've seen relationships really shine in your building in spite of these tough conditions. And do you think they might be the seed, or they might be at least a starting place to address the community stress that we're experiencing?
Well, when I look back over the last year and a half, it's been those relationships that's really, saved us. I mean, the laughter. We try to do something fun together at least once a month. Like Monday, we did. Everybody sent in their elementary pictures, and we played a game, and we include the students in that because for me, this job is about the kids, and so the kids bring us joy, and that relationship is what we focus on because they are the reason why probably I would say most of us walked into this profession. So anytime the students can be wrapped up in that relationship and that joy is worthwhile. So we play a lot of games, but we also last year we listened to the teachers and they said, look, we need more time. They were teaching in a remote platform, but at the same time, we're also teaching their students in the classroom. And our support staff said, hey, we'll help. And we created a whole new schedule based on their willingness and partnership, and got the teachers 2 half days every week where they were just solely devoted to their remote learners, planning time. And none of that could have happened without those relationships and that trust and that appreciation and gratitude. And then I'm so thankful for our community. I mean, almost daily, weekly, not daily, but weekly, we get a basket from a local faith-based organization, or we get, our PTO just spoils us. And those relationships and staying connected to them. I had another one last night said, hey, we want to do something for your teachers lounge. What can
Oh,
we do? And so, staying connected to all of those players, I feel very grateful for the school community that we have. They've been largely extremely supportive with these very, polarizing, emotional things, masks and social distancing, and they've stayed with us. They've said, whether we agree or not, we're with you, so that's for me, the relationship is just support, gratitude, appreciation.
Tiffany, that teachers lounge that you're describing, what a wonderful opportunity to partner with your community to enhance and provide a safe and comfortable space for faculty who are in the thick of things. I mean, do
Yeah.
you see that faculty lounge, that teachers lounge, as that kind of safe space, that refuge? And what other spaces like that exist in your school building for the faculty and staff?
Yeah, I would say that our teachers' lounge is a safe space. You know, I've worked in a lot of buildings, and I remember when I was in college, and they would say, "Stay away from the teachers' lounge." But really, ours is a place of laughter and a place of just fun. And so I feel like it is a safe space. Last year, we were able to create a workspace for teachers. We brought in some comfier chairs, a place that was where they could be socially distanced but still collaborate. We unfortunately weren't able to do that this year because, well, we had a preschool and so we had to do
Hmm.
some shifting. Um, but that was a really nice space last year. I also encourage them to get out and take walks. A lot of them in the spring and summer, or summer months, you'll see them out walking together during a prep period. I encourage them, once a week, get off campus, go have lunch with your team, if that's something that you guys enjoy doing. So those are some safe spaces I think that we have here. And then every teacher's classroom is a safe space. And we've tried to work hard on our behavior process.
Hmm.
So we've created a behavior support team.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like RTI, but for behavior. But in addition to that, we are sharing tips once a week. But we are giving them a partner, and we go in and we say, "Hey, go take a break." They go take a break. The other day, I sat in and finished a small group while the teacher went out and had a moment. So we've tried to build some of those in this year. Our space is very limited in our building, but we try to do the best we can.
That's outstanding, and just the opportunity and the knowledge that your staff members have that relief and help is just a phone call away, or maybe it's just an intentional moment of stopping by and saying, "Hey, what do you need? How can I help?" Also building those relationships too, as Principal Tiffany, you're really modeling the way forward to make sure that your school community is a place where there's a variety of loving adults just within arm's reach of any kid that needs them, whether
Mhm.
they're in the classrooms or on their way from their classroom to the library or on their way in and outside. And Tiffany, as a sole building administrator right now, do you find time, or are you able to give yourself permission to take the time to look after yourself while you're on the job?
I'm just going to be very honest. That's
Hmm.
something I am still working on, and I have gotten a little better this year. I was pretty much on 24/7 last year.
Hmm.
And some of that was because of COVID. I mean, well, a lot of it was because of COVID.
For sure.
Let's be honest. I mean, we would make a schedule and then the next day have to change the schedule, you know.
Hmm.
But this year I have tried to set some boundaries for myself. So even if I can't get the moments here at school, I'm trying to really protect my time at home.
Mm.
So I don't even look at my email beyond 6 o'clock. I try every now and then I do if I'm expecting something. But Saturdays are reserved solely for my family,
Mm.
um, and I don't check email. We have a great app for our parents. It's called Parent Square. It's fabulous, but
Hmm.
I try to shy away from that as well. Which is very hard for me. I was a very connected educator when I was in the classroom, and I've quickly realized as an administrator, I don't have 25 students, or even when I taught middle school, 100 I have 400 students and 50 staff members. I can't be everything to everyone. Um, so I've done better about that.
Hmm.
And I think as hopefully we can whatever get back to a new jam, a new normal, that maybe some of those times will do it. But I'll be really honest. I say this. I have recently plugged myself into our coding class, and I teach 2 coding classes a week. So that's kind of my happy space.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's what I think you found there is what a couple of Canadian authors call the third path, Tiffany. I mean, we as school leaders and educators, we know it's essential to focus on relationships as a foundation. Sometimes we think there are only two paths, or the way forward is through relationships, or the way forward is through the curriculum that we teach. And what you found through your passion and interest in coding is that third path where the curriculum and the connections overlap. So in your case, it's not relationships, it's not connection before content. You're connecting through the content, and you're lifting your own spirits, and you're also, again, you're growing that network of loving and dedicated educators for all kids within your building. I'm so proud to hear that.
Yeah, it's been really fun. It's definitely been a joy in the week to sit there with kids and get back into that collaboration and making our brains hurt. That's what I call it. And it really, it's hard to walk away not smiling after that. So
We all have to find those moments of intention where we're, bringing joy to ourselves. And as school leaders and educators, we really model the way forward on that. I mean, if we are intentional and we're, Tiffany, you're communicating some of your limits and some of the boundaries you're putting up to protect and show compassion and consideration for yourself and your loved ones. And I call them, the people, places, and things that bring you joy. We're also modeling the way forward and giving permission for our educators and people that we serve to do just the same. The other thing that's coming to mind is the wonderful connection through technology. We often think of technology as, microchips and buttons and lights and coding and very dispassionate, but there is truly a human element when you seek it, and when you found that human element where you're leveraging technology to build human relationships. Have you always been able to find that third path as a technology innovator, Tiffany?
Yeah, I think so. For me, I had the privilege one time in middle school to kind of create a course. And we were, I was just very honest with the students. Like, we're doing things that, I haven't done before. And we're going to sit down here and figure this out together. And that's just always been, for me, I don't, that's just always been such a release for me, and I think truly why I got into it, because when you're sitting on the floor with kids and you're
Hmm.
coding a robot or or trying to put a computer together, I don't care what the project is, but there's not just talk about computers going on. I mean, you're really connecting with kids on a totally different level. They forget you're there, and they talk about their likes, their dislikes, their music, their passions, basketball. You get to know them just on a deeper level. And for me, that was what the beautiful thing, especially about middle school life, was having those conversations. But the same is true for elementary kids. It's just a little different and a little messier, but it's, for me, that's always been why we do what we do. And so as an administrator, that's something I've had to be very intentional about, you know, because it'd be very easy to do all the paperwork and the emails and hang out in my office and, just do discipline all day, which is my least favorite thing. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not my total least favorite thing, because then that's time still with kids. So, but
100%. A hundred
yeah,
percent. And when we're seeking the why about the behavior that we're seeing, and again,
right.
your office must be one where kids know that they're going to be listened to, they're going to be
Yeah,
valued, and they're going to be accompanied through tough things. It's not a win lose. It's a let's figure this out together kind of place. It sounds like your
yeah.
office is, Tiffany.
Well, I hope it is, and a lot of times I'll tell the kids, they come in, I think they have that preconceived notion of, this is the principal's office, and I'll say, look at my face. Do I look mad?
Mm.
And that's one of the first things that I try to say, and they're like, no, you don't look mad. And because I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm here to help you. So tell me about what happened, and let's see where it went wrong, and how do we learn from this, and who did we impact with this behavior, and how can we, put some good back into the world where, maybe we took a little, sidestep. So for me, it's always about that. And I hope that kids largely feel like it's a safe space in our school.
So good, and just taking intentional moments to soothe ourselves, especially when if a student is coming into our classrooms or into our school offices escalated and upset, or
Yeah,
maybe Tiffany, faculty members, staff members are coming in
yeah,
upset and really deeply concerned about something. Just taking those intentional moments to soothe yourself as well as soothe those in your company, because everybody is coming in with heightened stress and negative anticipations of
yeah,
consequences. It sounds to me like taking that intentional moment to soothe and to find our center together to co-regulate with a stressed out student or staff member is key to digging in and finding the humanity in it. I'm so proud to
yeah.
hear that's your approach.
Thank you.
We're here. We're here on the Daily Drop In. Tiffany Copple and Brad Hughes. It's the Teach Better Team Daily Drop In, live every morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. We're digging into our brainstorm bank, the intentional time for you to let us know what's on your mind, how we might help, how we might smooth your day, how we might make you a little bit cheerier, a little bit brighter as you face the stresses, struggles, but also tremendous opportunities of your day. And Tiffany, I wanted to share back to you something that I saw in one of my preschool classes, in our kindergarten classes, having to do with technology, and just to heap a little praise and love on an educator team in my building. They were helping kids to use hexabugs,
Mm.
hexabugs, little LED toys that can follow a path on a given on a floor, a given path. And so we've got 3 and 4 year olds who are using these hexabugs in a center on the floor with an educator, along with they built a maze for the hexabugs, and what you came back to was, and I want to come back to as well, is the human element. So the hexabugs were the draw, they were the enticement, the provocation to the whole operation. But what the kids were learning with the educator was, basic things like turn taking, speaking and listening, observing, watching, collaborating. And so, I'm really excited to hear about what technology opportunities you think might be in store for your preschoolers, or anything that you've seen your educators in that preschool level do to leverage technology to get at those really basic fundamental skills that kids need as a foundation for everything they do later. Is what exciting things are going on in your building?
So I'll be really honest, as of right now, not much,
Hmm.
but we are working on the schedule right now so
Yeah.
that we can build in their opportunity to get that enrichment like all of our other students do.
Hmm.
So one of that, I mean, that's great, or the Ozbots, or whatever that little piece is, or there's a lot of pre-coding activities,
Hmm.
that don't even require technology. But right now, our preschool, we are mostly focused on, just getting it up and going this year.
Right.
But we really believe in that play-based learning. So um, there's just a lot of hands-on activity that goes on in there, a lot of building and connecting. We have sensory paths in there, and some different things, but we've definitely been discussing, uh, especially with the technology, like what would they be doing with
Hmm.
that, because we don't want, and I'm not a fan and never have been a fan of just saying technology is time is getting on this app and playing this thing.
Right.
um, so I don't want it to be that, and we know that, but we've brought up, I have those Sphero Minis. I mean, those would be very good for the
Right.
littles, but lots of fun opportunities for them to have. We've been talking too about our kindergarten, um, because what we're trying to do with everyone else is maybe not working out as well as we wanted it to work for kindergarten.
Hmm.
So we're brainstorming some new things. And speaking of connections, I called a couple of people from around the state that I know do really good things, and I say, hey, tell me what your littles are doing, because I'll be honest, for the last 4 years of my teaching career, I was in the middle school. So
Hmm.
I'm sure there were lots of new things that came out. But like you said, it's not really about the device or the tool, it's about what you do with it. So I just want to make sure anytime that you add technology that it's definitely intentional, it's definitely, appropriate, and it's going to get the result that you're hoping for. Um, and so we're in the exploration phase right now with preschool. So I'm really excited. Our teacher has an iPad. She does some different things up on the board, and they do some things together. But that's pretty much it. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. So,
All the process, right? All the process of
oh yeah,
establishing that foundation, establishing those intentions, that vision for the program, and bringing your educators on board, focusing on the first things first,
yeah,
and then you can something to build on. That sounds like a really wise approach. Hey, I'm
yeah.
we're going to be shifting now to our good news segment and
Awesome.
to our good news story and celebrating some holidays. Are you? Do you have any celebrations planned for today or for the end of the week in your life, Tiffany?
Let's see. Well, we have right now our school is planning our Read Across America Week, so that's probably the next big thing that will happen here, celebration wise. But no, we just had a big weekend. My daughter turned 13, and it was Valentine's Day, of course, and so that was a big celebration weekend. And um, personally, that's what we did. And then I was listening to you guys, was that yesterday? I don't know. All the days kind of blend in about the Make a Grouch Smile. It was like National Make a Grouch Smile. So we did that at school
Oh, wonderful.
yesterday. Yeah. So that was pretty fun. The kids got a real kick out of that. But nothing, I don't think we have anything specific celebration wise other than the big week coming up. So,
Well, we've got some great ideas that you can bring to your family and
okay.
staff right after this break, and we'll dig
All
into
right.
our good news and our celebrations of the day. We'll see you on the flip
All
side.
right. Mhm.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Teach Better Daily Drop In. It's Thursday. It's Thursday, Tiffany. You just said the days are blending in. I had to check my calendar here. It's Thursday, February the 17th. I'm here with Tiffany Copple, Brad Hughes here with you on the Daily Drop In. Welcome. And if you are watching, joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or LinkedIn, make sure you let us know in the comments where you are, what you're up to today, and what you're celebrating. Tiffany, today, February the 17th, I'm looking at our calendar today. Today is Random Acts of Kindness Day. That's certainly something you can bring forward to your building, and I will to mine. I mean, if you had someone who was performing a random act of kindness for you today, Tiffany, what would touch your heart the most? What would light you up?
Well, I think the simple answer is anybody who knows me knows that I have a deep affection for McDonald's Diet Coke.
Oh,
So my threshold is very low. I mean, if you show up with that, it's for me. And so that, but I don't know. I'm pretty easy. I'm a pretty easy to please. And my teachers know that if they have anything fun going on in class, they know to call me because that's probably my favorite. So a McDonald's Diet Coke and seeing kids do something fun is that's pretty much all I need.
that's a winning combo. Would cabbage be involved at all? Today is National Cabbage Day. I'm not sure if your McDonald's Diet Coke and a side of coleslaw might do it for you. I'm not sure. National Cabbage Days. Is cabbage big in your world?
Actually, yeah, it kind
Yeah.
of is. My grandma was a Eastern Kentucky Appalachian lady, and
Hmm.
she could really make some great cooked cabbage and cornbread. And if I could go back and have some of that, I mean, I would definitely take it. So
The
it's a good
website National
memory.
Today, where I'm getting these days of the week, invites us to explore the unexplored world of cabbages. And
Oh,
I have to say, I'm intrigued. Cabbage is not high on my on my list of preferred things, but unexplored world of I'm really intrigued. There's something otherworldly about that. Tiffany, what if I told you today was my way day? My way, a day where you can expect to have it your way. Is what would that excite you to have everything your way today, or are you more of a go with the flow kind of person?
I isn't that kind of like what your birthday should be? And I mean, my birthday never goes the way that I think it's gonna go. So I don't know. I think if you set up your expectation that your day is my way, then you're probably setting yourself up for some disappointment. So
I
the
think you're
world,
right.
yeah, the world doesn't cater to just us. So yeah, I don't.
Sometimes I feel like it's just if I'm feeling kind of. You talked about the making a grouch smile. If I'm feeling grouchy, sometimes I feel it's like get out of my way day. But today is my way day. Maybe have it your way day. That reminds me of another fast food commercial. Maybe have it your way
Mhm.
is connecting back to your Diet Coke. But it's also National Cafe au lait Day. And Ray Heward and I celebrated last Friday. We celebrated National Latte Day. At that point, it was also Don't Cry Over Spilled Milk Day. So our advice was to put the spilled milk into the latte. Tiffany, do you know or understand the difference between a cafe au lait and a latte?
No, sir, I am not a coffee girl.
Hmm.
No. Um, all my coffee gift cards go to my teenage daughter. So
Oh, mine too. Does is there is there a coffee place nearby that's your daughter's favorite place to go?
oh yeah, we have a lovely local establishment.
Hmm.
It's locally owned, and she loves going there. It's within walking distance of her school, so she walks there after school with her friends, and I get the rewards notifications on my phone, so I know where she is and when she's checked out. But yeah, so she likes going there.
That's outstanding. Do you have
Mhm.
opportunities to have mother daughter time, maybe over a coffee or just being? It's hard. I was going to say being out and about, but it's hard to do that during a pandemic. But is there anything that you do that brings both of you joy together?
Well, it's really hard because I have 4 kids.
Hmm.
And so it's really hard to get one-on-one time. So a lot of our one-on-one time is me driving her to whatever social event thing she has on her calendar. So a lot of times that does involve driving through and getting, she likes caramel macchiatos. So,
Oh,
yeah, so sometimes that does involve that. And she knows I'm a sucker for that. So she knows that I will most likely pull in somewhere and get her a drink. She doesn't even have to ask most of the time. So that kind of is something that she and I do, I would say.
that's fantastic. And balancing time and attention among 4 kids and all of your other
Yeah.
responsibilities, challenging but rewarding too.
Oh yes, definitely. I have all the way from 15 down to 7. They're in
Hmm.
three different school buildings, and luckily my husband is he's one of our IT support people here in our district, so I couldn't do it without him. He definitely has a more flexible schedule, and he can gather up all the chicks and get them where they need to be. So
Sounds
it's
like
teamwork.
an IT specialist and a school leader are ideally positioned to make sense of those busy mornings with 4 kids going to 3 different schools. Maybe you've
Yeah.
got the timetables or you've got the departure sign. What's going on in your household every morning, Tiffany, and how are you managing it?
Well, I'll be honest, I've got to give all the credit to my husband. I
Hmm.
mean, and when you have multiple children, something that's a very good side effect is they become very independent.
Hmm.
And our kids are very independent, and they, get their own clothes, they pack their own lunches. So he's just mostly just cracking the whip and making sure the teenagers are moving along, and the 7-year old's actually brushing his teeth, and he has a whole system and how they drop off and when they drop off. So he always makes sure that I don't come to school with the kids because as a teacher that was always hard for me.
Yeah.
That morning time is so precious. That quiet time that you have. So he makes sure that I get that, and yeah, he's Mr. Dad. So
It sounds like maybe you can develop a Copple family app to keep everybody on track. And today is also
maybe.
World Human Spirit Day, Tiffany. I'm not sure whether cultivating the spirit, whether it's through meditation or connection, or the invitation is meditate, be thankful, and stay confident. Celebrating World Human Spirit Day, February 17th, and the good news story for today actually celebrates human spirit and actually dovetails really nicely back to discussions you and I have had, Tiffany, about seeing the best in every child, coming alongside kids
Mhm.
experiencing difficulty, seeking to understand. And it comes from today.com. And the headline is, "He used to be a troubled student. Here's what helped him turn it all around." I'll make sure that I post this link in our comments. And so whether you're catching us live or later, you can have a look at this story celebrating student Howard Kitchen, who was an adorable student but was prone to tantrums and destruction in his school in Tennessee. But his teachers and administrators, everyone in the building, never gave up on him. The story describes how educators and staff members leveraged relationships day after day after day to support this student in turmoil, and developed friendships that have now been long lasting. Howard now, as a young adult, has returned and has contributed to the story, just celebrating and honoring the work of loving adults who never gave up on him. And Tiffany, I think you and I can both reflect on young people in our lives where it would have been easy and understandable to give up due to exhaustion, frustration, or dead ends. But it's the ability to hang in there with love and the ability to seek to understand behavior before we seek to come up with some solutions. It's thinking long term. Can you think of young people in your educator life or in your family life that we've just hung in and it's made all the difference?
Oh yeah, I mean, as soon as you started reading that, names just start lighting up in your brain, when they don't, or when they move away and you lose touch, that man, that's really hard,
Mhm.
because it's like you poured so much, and you made sure that when you handed them off, that the people getting really understand, like, this kid is special, and these are the things that work. And when you lose that connection, man, that's really hard. But yeah, definitely. So I have kids, it's crazy to think that I've been in this long enough, but that they're out and in the world and have their own families. And there is nothing better than bumping into one of them at Walmart. They have a family, they're well, they're in a, they're doing whatever to support their family. And that makes you feel really good that, that it all is really worth it. And even for those who don't persevere past that, or just continue to have barriers in their life, like, you still don't give up, and you see them and you're like encouraging them, and making sure that it's a judgment free, conversation.
Uh,
And
mhm.
but just say, I'm still thinking about you, and I'm here, and reach out. So it kind of both ways. But yeah, definitely seeing the success stories, that's very encouraging, very uplifting. Something our district does that I love is seniors get to select an educator that really had an impact on them. And those are the most powerful and emotional. They have a whole ceremony, and man, it's literally the best. Even, I mean, even if you're not, you don't have a student up there to hear that, I mean, there is truly nothing better. So yeah, definitely awesome story.
Tiffany, I think you and your faculty will be inspired and uplifted by this story. And the heart of it for me is the author recognizes that while many attempts were made to fix the behavior of this young man,
Mhm.
what really made the difference was love, just showing up with love time after time. And you're describing, Tiffany, a process, both philosophical and practical, where love shines in, the interactions that you're modeling and supporting with kids. And we've got some viewers and commenters this morning who are joining us and reflecting on our conversation. Good morning to Alex, who is celebrating connections through content. Good morning to Aaron, who is celebrating and recognizing your efforts and your staff efforts, Tiffany, to prioritize exploration as a foundation in your program. Uh, Che Cheney, good morning, Che. Good morning, Che. And Che, a Toronto, Ontario educator, agrees connection through content's essential. So we're grateful to have our listeners and viewers joining
Yeah.
us this morning, Tiffany. And we're also grateful that they have an opportunity to check us out later, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or LinkedIn, or later on our our Teach Better Talk podcast. Tiffany, we're getting towards the end of our show. We're just
Mhm.
going to transition right now, and we're just going to wrap up our discussion today and look ahead to tomorrow. How's that sound?
It sounds great.
Great.
Oh, sorry. Did you want me to say more? I don't know.
No, no,
Like
not at
this
all.
is
No,
the
I'm
end.
no, it's on me. I'm looking for the right transition.
I can fill in. I can
I'm
fill
new.
in if you
Please
need
do.
me to.
Just keep talking. I'll figure. Hey, let's try this. Welcome back. I found a transition, Tiffany. I don't think it was the transition that would normally take place at this time on the Thursday drop-in, but hey, I've still got the training wheels on here as daily drop-in host, and thanks for hanging in there with me. We've been with Tiffany Copple today, school leader, parent, partner, busy mom, and busy soul building administrator right now of a school in Indiana. Also, an innovation specialist. We've been celebrating creating and sustaining safe spaces in our buildings and in our lives, as well as the power of relationships, leveraging relationships to make great things happen. Tiffany, I know that our viewers and listeners are going to be eager to connect with you and stay connected. What's
Yeah.
the best way for them to do that, whether it's through social media or website? How can listeners find out more about you?
I mean, I am on Twitter. I'll be honest. I've taken a little back seat from Twitter. I used to host Twitter chats, and it was one of those things that when the pandemic hit, I kind of I recessed from. Um, so, but I am still on there, and I do scroll and I do things like that. I'm on Instagram, um, but I mean, my email, I don't know. I mean, we can connect in lots of ways. I can share any of that information.
It's been wonderful having you with us on the drop in.
Yeah.
And as we look forward to tomorrow, I'm really grateful to have Ray Hewitt driving the bus here and taking care of all of the transitions and all of the particulars. And I show up and I'm a co-host with Ray Hewitt tomorrow, Tiffany. So it's a little more than being along from the ride. I don't feel like I'm like in the sidecar or anything while Ray drives the motorcycle, but I'm grateful to have Ray as co-host again tomorrow, and we're wrapping up a great week. What's making you happy as you look into your day today, your Thursday, February 17th, Tiffany, at your building, or anything you're looking forward to this weekend?
Well, today is one of my favorite days each month because we do our response to intervention process.
Uh huh.
So it's going to be all about talking about kids and problem solving and collaborating and sharing ideas, and it's a whole day of it. So I always look forward to that day and touching base and checking in and seeing how the students are doing since our last meeting. And so that's what we've got going on today. And then we're heading into a 3-day weekend. So I don't know what's not to love about that, but I don't have anything. Oh, well, I will say, our district does a big thing at the high school basketball game. So the principal, a teacher, and a student shoots free throws at
Hmm.
halftime, and we compete against all the other elementaries, and it's a big to do here. So that's this weekend. So I've been practicing my my free throw, and so that's been an excitement in our building. So
Always
it
so
is
much to
indie,
celebrate when you get together with your
yeah.
staff and including students at the center. And we have a holiday weekend here in Ontario as well. It's Family Day on Monday, and so it's a day where families are invited to reconnect, to spend time with people,
Oh wow.
places, and things that they love to do. So I know it'll be a well deserved and a well anticipated long weekend for us here at Well. Heading into a period of stormy and wintry weather
Mm.
this weekend in southern Ontario. What's the forecast like there for Indiana? Fair skies and pleasant temperatures.
Well, we're currently under a wind advisory. So we've got 50-mile gust out there, and it's pretty windy and rainy and not super lovely, but we had a stretch of snow and ice, and that finally is all melted. And it's been kind of warm this week. So, but today's kind of dreary, so it'll be an inside recess day.
Well, speaking of windy conditions, I've been blown away by our conversation today and just the opportunity to meet and connect with you, Tiffany, and for our listeners and viewers to get to know you and to get to know your educator's heart and how you lead with love has been really inspiring. I'm so glad that you joined me today on the Daily Drop In. Thanks so much.
This has been really fun. Thank you, Brad, so much. And thanks to Ray also, who reached out, and a lot of fun. So thank you.
Great. We look forward to seeing everyone back tomorrow on all the channels for the Daily Drop In every day at 7 a.m. Eastern. We're looking forward to reconnecting. I'll see you tomorrow with Ray Hewitt, and we'll get ready for a wonderful weekend. Tiffany, enjoy your day and have a great one.
All right. Thank you.